For about 3000 years, a catastrophic virus that had spread terror all over the earth. This virus caused a disease that was so deadly and painful that if you got it, then there are 30% chances that you would die. Every 1 out of 3% will die from this disease. Many of those who survived had permanent scars on their bodies. Big spots, blisters were seen all over their bodies. Many people also became permanently blind from this disease. When this disease spread in Japan in year 1735 AD, one-third of the Japanese population was wiped out. In the year 1500, when the European colonizers reached Mexico and America with this disease, 85% of the native tribal population was wiped out. It is estimated that 5 million people were nearly killed every year all over the world at that time due to this disease. In the time frame of 100 years, 500 million deaths. That is half a billion. The recent pandemic of COVID-19 looks like a joke in front of this disease, the Red Plague or smallpox virus. This disease was major reason that the world population remained almost constant for thousands of years. The smallpox was the most vulnerable and devastating disease in the human history. It can spread very easily. If someone sneezes or coughs, it could spread even through the respiratory droplets, even through the person's saliva. The initial symptoms of the smallpox were like normal cough and cold, but gradually, rashes started appearing on the body. These rashes turned into boils. After some time, a person's entire face and body is filled with these boils. Pus started oozing out from them. It was a very disgusting thing to describe. So I will not get into much detail about it, nor I will show you any picture of it, of how it actually looked. If you want to see the images, then you can search on the Google yourself after the video ends. After getting infected, a person would die after about 8 to 16 weeks of headache, vomiting, rashes and fever. As I said, the death rate was as high as 30%. If you compare it with COVID-19, its death rate was even less than 1%. And the even more terrifying thing was that it infected children and young people more, and the chances of them dying were even higher. Where did this disease started? How did it happen? No one knows. But it is estimated that around 12,000 years ago, when humans started agriculture for the first time, the first farming settlements which were seen in Africa, when humans started domesticating animals like cow, buffaloes, and goats, these animals were already suffering from orthopox virus, which might have mixed with the human genes and converted into deadly smallpox. But how this orthopox is spread in animals, no one knows. But one thing is for sure, even humans of that time had the knowledge about immunity. It was observed that the people who got this disease never got it again. Their body used to develop an immunity against this disease. This led to a discovery of world's first vaccine. Many doctors and intellectuals of that time that there could be a way to avoid this disease before it infects you. So why not take a small dose of this virus and infect yourself before the severe virus infects you. You will get sick by this small amount of virus, but probably you won't die, hopefully, and you will never have any problem again, as your body will develop immunity against smallpox. This process is called inoculation. They used to take out small scabs from the skin of an infected person suffering from smallpox and then inject it into the nose of a healthy person by blowing into it. That healthy person used to get smallpox after this, and some even died due to the same thing. But the good thing was that the death rate decreased to 1 to 2% after this process. It was better to have a death rate of 1 to 2% rather than a 30% death rate. So many people prefer to get inoculated, but the problem was that those who got inoculated had a permanent scars on their body that was often visible on their faces. The second problem was that those people who got inoculation were contagious. They were spreading the virus further in the world. The problem is still remained unsolved. Now in 18th century, there was a village in England. A very mysterious thing was found here. The farmers, the cattle breeders, and the milkmaids working in this village never got this disease of smallpox. So in the year 1795, a doctor named Edward Jenner heard this thing and thought of investigating it. When he talked to the people living in the village, he found out that the people of the village have already got cowpox, another orthopox virus, but it was not as deadly as smallpox and spreads from cattle to humans from contaminated milking equipments and hand of milkers. An interesting thing was that those farmers who suffered from cowpox never got smallpox. Edward Jenner wondered that getting cowpox itself was a prevention against smallpox. If this is so, then this can be a very easy way to prevent smallpox. There is only one way to test it: experiment and prove it. In May 1796, a woman named Sarah, who has cowpox, goes to the Dr. Edward Jenner for the treatment. He takes out the pus from the boils that have been formed on her skin and kept it separately with himself. He thinks that it is the right time to test this theory. But on whom should he test his theory? Someone will have to become a scapegoat here. So Dr. Jenner's gardener had an 8-year-old son named James. Jenner called his child and scratched his hand and deliberately infected him with his cowpox. After a few days, the child got fever due to cowpox, but he recovered from it. And 6 weeks after his recovery, Dr. Jenner now forcibly infects the child with a smallpox. In today's time, experimenting on children in this way is not only morally wrong but also against the law. But that was a different time. At that time, there were no such morals and laws. Forcibly giving smallpox to a child had a very high chances that he would die. But thankfully, this did not happen. The child had developed immunity to the smallpox. This experiment proved that cowpox can prevent smallpox from happening. This means that Dr. Edward Jenner had invented the world's first vaccine, world's first successful vaccine. Actually, the word vaccination was also coined by Dr. Edward Jenner, and many people throughout the world got this Dr. Edward Jenner's vaccine to prevent themselves from smallpox. Many years later, in 1958, World Health Organization launched a global campaign to eliminate smallpox from the whole world. In the same year, an official program was launched to distribute this vaccine across the world, and this campaign was the major reason behind the world's exponential rise in world population. The world population more than just tripled in last 70 years. Just look at this graph. You can see the sharp rise in the world population between 60s and 70s. This campaign is the major reason that you and me are here in this world today. Because earlier, most of the people used to die because of smallpox even before they reached their adulthood, especially in Asia and Africa. But after this, average life expectancy increased rapidly in these areas. The last case of natural smallpox infection was seen in Somalia in 1977, and the last person who died due to this disease was an English woman who was accidentally exposed to this virus in the laboratory in the year 1978. And in 1979, World Health Organization officially declared that this disease has now been eradicated from the whole world. No case of smallpox has been seen in this world since then. This was how a small invention of Dr. Edward Jenner changed the world forever. Today, no one is suffering from smallpox virus, but there are still 2 places on earth where you can get smallpox virus. The first is a lab in Center for Disease and Control Prevention in America, and second is a lab in Russian State Center for Research on Virology in Russia, where these virus samples have been kept. They have been stored so that further research and studies can be done on this virus. The only fear that some people might have right now is that someone might genetically modify these viruses, or it might potentially leak from these labs and cause another outbreak here in this world. But there is no vaccine for fear and speculations. So that's it for this video. I hope you learned something new in this video, and I will see you all again in some other video with another interesting topic. Till then, goodbye.